Okay, guys, welcome back to another episode of the 2021 MLB Draft Show. Today, this morning, this afternoon, depending on where you are and where you're watching this, we've got Keller, Texas's big righty, Eric Hammond. He's joining the show today, a USC commit. You don't see that too much. Go Trojans. Eric, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me. It's awesome to be here.
Of course, man. Yeah, really excited to have you. The pleasure is certainly all ours. I want to kind of just open the floor to you right away and allow you to kind of introduce yourself as a baseball player, and then secondly, kind of as a pitcher.
Yeah, so obviously I'm committed to USC, but so I guess starting back in freshman year of high school, going into freshman year, I was 5'11", 125. Definitely not the most physical guy out there, but I think just growing into my body's been one thing over the years that obviously I'm 6'4", 180 now, so obviously I want to continue to build on that, weight wise, get stronger. But I think that just day-to-day consistency since ever since I was a young kid, but really starting freshman year has allowed me to get where I'm at and continue to get to where I want to be at. And I guess so sophomore year, I guess freshman year I was top end about 72, sitting in that 70-72 range. And then once sophomore year came about, I grew about 2 to 3 inches, 6'2", 140-ish, and I was finally getting into the low 80s. So it's kind of been a steady climb for me, I guess, velocity standpoint. And then going into junior year, I finally started to get up into the upper 80s, and it's, like I said, just continued to gone up since then. And now going into my senior year, touched 96 a couple weeks ago, and just looking to continue to get better, obviously velocity wise as well as command and off speed wise as well.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the off-speed pitches because, I mean, the 96 is going to catch headlines, but you're routinely 93 to 96. This is not something that you did on a backfield one time and can't repeat. I want to talk about the breaking balls because you can really rip through some cowhide. You can really rip through a breaking ball. Talk about your two breaking balls and how you like to deploy them.
Yeah, so the curveball, that's a pitch I've actually had the same grip since I was about 9 years old, and it's something that actually I have a baseball here. It's just traditional down like too lighter on the pointer finger, just going straight down. And I'm a 3/4 guy, so it's really important for me to keep the wrist stacked almost, as if I not getting out on the side of it. That's when it sits up. But that's the curveball has always been my best pitch, and it's something I can throw at any count. When I'm down in the count, and obviously I think the spin rate on it's about 2,500 on average, which is solid, but I can continue to build on that. And but I think just the command I have with it's what separates it from a lot of other curveballs that I see. But as far as the slider, that's a pitch I've actually started developing this fall. Actually, I threw like a mix of a slider cutter during the summer that was low 80s. It was effective, but I just knew at the next level it's not going to play. And I think I started making some good headway on it with the true slider, which I hold like about right here. So it's similar to my curveball grip, but I'm just going to go straight through it like a fastball. It's tunneling it with the fastball as well, and it's sitting at about 80, 83 right now. So I think as I continue to get stronger, that velocity will go into the mid 80s, like you see a lot of these pro guys. And I feel like the curveball is right now a better pitch than the slider, but I just want to, with the changeup as well. I think the 4-pitch mix in the future, I can throw, any count. I think that's something that's going to separate me.
Yeah, it's a hammer curveball. I mean, anybody that's seen it definitely knows that thing's got quite the ceiling. It's a potential plus pitch for sure. I want to talk about your growth spurt because, like you mentioned, you grew almost a foot, in high school. And you're a long guy, you're a lanky guy. How has that been in terms of staying synced up and keeping your body in rhythm and making sure that you have clean mechanics all the way through high school? Because I imagine every year kind of posed a new challenge in that you had more in the tank.
Right. Yeah. So I used to play shortstop a lot, and I've always kind of had that athletic background, playing football, basketball when I was younger. In high school, I just stuck with baseball. But I think some of the biggest things are just my mobility and flexibility, which allows me to do certain stuff with my body that allows it to be consistent, especially like external rotation and then hip mobility. I actually have a stretching and hip mobility routine that I've been doing for the past 5 years. Haven't missed a day in 5 years. 15, 20 minutes. And I think it's just that consistency, whether it be, my stretching or, studies or every time, when I'm throwing at practice every day or what it is, just making sure I'm doing everything, all the little things right. And that'll allow me to, be consistent out of the same arm slot and, just repeating that.
I mean, that's not an accident either. It sounds like you have a pretty good understanding of the kinetic chain, and you bring up spin rates, and it seems like you're a little bit more involved than some other peers in your class in terms of, the data, the analytics, the kinetic chain. Is that something that you like to work into your routine? Rapsodo, Edgertronic, things like that?
Yeah. So as far as I guess working out wise, first, I feel like I'm really up to date with all the little things with that. The place I work out here locally, VBT training, which is velocity based training, just how fast you can move weight, and eccentric, concentric during the off season. I'm really advanced with that. But as far as like the Rapsodo, TrackMan, Edgertronics, I haven't really had the ability to get into all that quite yet as much as I'd like to. I think that's something that in the future I can really benefit from because I like working with numbers and just looking at all the little stuff, trying, obviously once I get with the coach who, can teach me like what's good and what's not, still quite learn that. But recently we actually did get a Rapsodo at our school. So every once in a while I'll throw off that. I think I've thrown twice off that. So I'm starting to finally get into it a little bit. And I think it's going to really elevate my game once I really get into the details of it.
What's it like for a guy like you to go to these perfect game showcases, go to the baseball factory showcases, and the data is in your face? I mean, it's on the scoreboards. You're getting measured pregame for, explosiveness. Is that intimidating, or is it something that is interesting to you? Kind of how do you digest that?
I personally really like it. I think it's almost like you're competing with yourself, and you see it on there. Obviously you don't want to be looking up there during the game, but
Yeah.
See it and you're like, all right, let's try to get higher. I think that competitive edge I have in me, always wanting to get a little better. And I think that especially, at nationals, that was one of the big events I had this summer that kind of put me on the spot. And I think, seeing all the guys that came before me, Burns, Bruns, just, seeing what they did, I think it, pushed me to be even better myself. And I just think, like I said, the internal competitiveness, when you see numbers like that, you're just always wanting to better them. And I think that's will, continue to help me excel.
I think you have just an interesting arsenal. I think that you bring a lot to the mound, and I want to know if some of your peers or family members or scouts or anyone has ever thrown any sort of comparisons on you, or you're a little bit like this guy. I used to watch him throw in the bigs, or maybe you compare yourself to someone.
Yeah, so especially when I was younger, Max Scherzer was the guy. So actually 2 years ago, when they won the World Series, Washington did, my dad and I actually tracked every single one of his pitches the whole year from opening day through Game 7. So, we tracked, whether it was a righty or lefty up, and then what pitch he threw and what count. And at the end of the season, we calculated all the little things like, in this count he's throwing this, but obviously, there were. What made him so special is he's got 4 or 5 pitches and there's no patterns at all, which is what we figured out. And I think learning from that, just kind of how he sequences stuff, because I have a similar pitch repertoire, and obviously his pitches are obviously a lot better than mine as right now, but that's where I'm trying to get to. And another guy is Jacob deGrom. We have similar builds with similar arm slot and mechanics, and I think just kind of as far as mechanically what he does, he's a guy who I've kind of recently caught on to and started looking at.
Okay, so Keller, Texas, you are committed to the University of Southern California. Tell me what it was about the Trojans that sparked your interest.
Yeah, so actually my dad, he's a tennis coach. He from 2003 to 2004, he was the USC men's volunteer assistant coach. So loved his experience there. And so I guess 3 days after Christmas of my junior year, I went out there, and I just really loved the environment and everything the coaches had to offer with, as far as the facilities and just, wanting to bring that winning tradition back. And, I'm a huge competitor and all about the team and, I think that's what, they're offering there. And, hopefully, look forward to, if I do end up there, bringing back that winning tradition and, getting to Omaha. And, yeah.
It's interesting. So if you end up there, I mean, obviously you're probably going to have options. I want to ask kind of how difficult a decision is that going to be for you? Because you're a name that is obviously garnering quite a bit of traction in MLB draft circles. Is that something you're looking forward to? Kind of speak me through how you're feeling about the draft.
Yeah, I'm just kind of taking it day by day, just trying to do everything, all the little things right each day and still, having fun with my senior year of high school with the guys I've been playing with, since I was 6 or 7. But, I'm just, if the right opportunity presents itself, come the time, I'm definitely, it's something I'm interested in. But yeah, like I said, I just want to keep, having fun with my friends and doing all the little things right and, hopefully winning a state championship here down in Texas.
Good answer. You're only a high school senior once. You don't get to redo this. That's for sure.
Right.
That's right. All right. So looking back to December and January when you're getting on, 30 or 40 Zoom meetings with all of these different area scouts, getting to know the different big league organizations. What was that like for you? Was there a weird question or a strange question that you got that has kind of stuck with you?
There wasn't anything. I think they were all unique in their own ways. I think, there wasn't really one weird question I heard, but I actually really enjoyed them. Seeing how, each organization does it differently, and a lot of them are the same, some are different, and just seeing, what they, I guess what's unique about them, and I guess that was really interesting to me because obviously, for a lot of them, there's no cookie cutter way to do something, especially with pitchers. Everyone has a different arm angle, different repertoire, and I've been lucky throughout my high school career, especially with my high school coach. We've had success as a team because, he treats everyone, almost as, obviously you got the team aspect, but treats them as an individual and based off their individual needs. And I think that's what allows, a team to be great. And that's what, it's allowing us to succeed in the high school level this year.
Okay. So let's say best case scenario, you just happen to be in the big leagues in 2025, right? 4 years from now, maybe it happens. Is there a hitter that you want to strike out more than anyone else?
That's a good question. I think it's got to be Mike Trout. I mean, he's the best, right? I want to go after the best. So, yeah, I'd say Trout. I've been watching a lot of the games recently, and he's definitely as good as it gets as far as, just compact player. He just does everything right. So, yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
How about a pitcher? I know that you mentioned Scherzer. I don't want you to strike out a pitcher. I hope that you're not hitting by then. Hopefully there's a universal DH. But is there a pitcher that maybe you'd like to study under or just kind of shadow maybe your rookie year?
Yeah, I'd say DeGrom is definitely one. I think especially these past couple months, I've started to really look at, watching his starts and, trying to look up as many YouTube videos as I can. But what he's able to do, because we're the same size, 6'4", 180, what he's able to do with his hips and obviously with the elite velocity up to 102. I think that just trying to figure out the little things that he does as far as, whether it's mobility, strength wise, I think that'd be really cool to kind of pick his brain and, see what makes him elite.
Okay, last question for you, Eric. In the next 3 months, 3 or 4 months, the draft is in 3 months. You enroll at USC potentially in 4 months. What are you looking to accomplish as a team? And then also individually, how are you looking to grow?
Yeah, so team-wise, win a state championship. We're at the highest level, which is 6A in Texas. And, we're just we've had a good season so far and wanted to, continue that. And, we're playing against the best of the best in Texas. So every week, it's a challenge. You got to prepare mentally, physically. And, I think as a team, we really enjoy doing that. And then individually, I just want to continue to, get a little better every day, get a little stronger. Obviously, I'm, 180 at 6'4", and I think there's a lot more potential that I can tap into as far as strength wise that'll, elevate my command, my velocity, and, just all aspects of the game. So, yeah, just getting stronger and continuing to, obviously stay healthy. And then once, I guess if I were to get drafted or, especially during the summer, once the season's over, starting to get into the Rapsodo and the, obviously I don't have Edgertronics here, but that's another pretty sweet deal that would be really cool to look at. So yeah, just kind of the little parts of the game I want to continue to build on.
Consummate professional, always learning, taking it day by day his senior year. Eric, thank you for joining the show today. And I think I speak for everyone at Prospects Live and frankly in the baseball industry when I say we're looking forward to seeing what's next.
Thank you. Appreciate it.